Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena and today we will be furthering our journey. Already down a couple of motifs by now, right? So this is another session on tangle motifs where we are working with interesting shapes and using Zentangle patterns or tangles to fill them up and create beautiful motifs, right? So this is the last one that we drew, and today let us do one more interesting motif, right? So I'm again going to go with a basil or a gorgeous kind of a shape, right? But before that I'm going to draw a stem, something like a dividing line in between here. I already have a divider running in the center of my page, right? So I'm probably going to draw a line on both sides of this dividing line like this, yeah. And then I'm going to add nice gorgeous shape on both sides of this line running almost connected with each other, trying to keep them somewhat equal, yeah. So you can rotate and see if they are approximately, again I'm not too much concerned about symmetry here, so just approximation, right? And then what I'm going to do is just add some flares, what should I say, something like the tangle flukes or some wings or some generally I use this shape when I draw a tangle called flukes, right? Just that these are bigger, right? And I'll do the same exercise here also, right? So starting somewhere around the same place, so I'm going to add a nice curve, come down like this, and then continue the same, keep rotating. So this is not exactly a tangle, but the shape is very common as far as Zentangle is concerned. Again, we use it very often. And a tangle called flukes starts somewhat like this, right? If you don't stick to a grid, then that is how you start the tangle flukes, right? So this is the motif that we are going to be working on today. So we have prepared a broad outline, and I'm now going to start inking it. So using my O1 and first inking my gorgeous kind of shape, right, on both sides. Now the center stem, up to you how do you want to go about it, right? So you can add a whole lot of tangles, really highlight the stem, the center line, keep it double line, make it triple line, whatever you feel like, right? So what I'm going to do here is probably add these strands just like we do for pork, yeah, slanting lines, right? So once we are done with that, so it's a good idea to ink it, and you can always leave a highlight like this, right? Extend a little to the outside so that It looks like it is enclosing the stick or the stem or the rod, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so take your time and slowly ink these slanting double lines with a highlight in the center. Right, so I'm purposely drawing these big so that they are clear enough, but motif you can always vary the size, make it smaller depending on where are you making it, where do you intend to place it. Yeah, in the video I am purposely drawing it. I've selected a bigger size paper. I was not very sure if I can do justice with it on a tile, so I purposely chose a A5 sheet. Right, so once we are done with that, now moving on to the gorgeous. So now again it is up to us, what do we want to do inside. So I'm adding some layers. You can go with the regular inking or you can add layers like this. Yeah, so I have added 4, and now I'm going to add some different set of tangles, right, starting with orbs. Right, so I have added the orbs on both sides, right, just inking in the small little spaces, the intersectices in between my orbs. Always take that time, make that effort, and go back and fill in the small little spaces in between. Right, so once we are done that, now the second thing, again whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. So I will just probably first divide this into sections like this, right. Yeah. And then probably I will go with a mingle inside it, small little puzzle like tangle, finding your way inside. Tangle is called a mingle, so using those square spaces for the tangle. Take your time and slowly use each of the space. And insert the tangle a mingle. Yeah, I'll do this here also. So these are Zentangle originals. Again, if you are new to the tangles, you can always go back to my videos, learn how to draw a tile, practice it, come back to it, or you can look for the step outs, whichever way you are comfortable. I will name the tangles at the end of the session. Right now just enjoy tangling, follow along. Yeah, so that's the tangle mingle. Then moving on to the next layer, I'm going to add the tangle echoism. I really like this tangle. I use it pretty often. Series of cursive S shapes. Yeah, I feel it has a nice texture. Really looks nice on shading also, and gives a nice feel wherever you insert it. So just take your time and insert the tangle. You can go with any other tangle. Please feel free to, explore, experiment, choose anything of your choice. As far as these orbs are concerned, you can either keep it the way it is or you can add another orb inside. I'm just adding an aura inside, nothing else. Adding one more orb, just like an aura inside the bigger orb. That's about it. You don't need to do anything else, right? Again, same exercise here. Looks like some mirror work kind of thing, yeah. And see how beautiful simple orbs can look like. Again, the beauty of Zentangle, right? So here again, this section probably I will add some Knightsbridge. Some bit of inking always looks nice, right? So I'm just adding lines, but they are thicker lines, as if they are alternate inked sections, right? Something like that. And I do this here also. So take your time and choose tangles that come easily to you. There are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. Pick any tangle, and then inside I'm just going to add some nice dots, tiny dots. Yeah, this section, it is entirely up to you. I'm just going to add something like this. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, that's it, nothing much. You can add some more lines here. You can add some more lines here. Yeah, and then we have these, right? So again, there is a scope. You can either keep it the way it is, you can add tangles there, whatever you feel like. Anyways, it is going to look nice. So what I'm going to do here is alternate it, right? So one section I will do Knightsbridge, and then alternate sections I'm going to tangle. Yeah, so that's what I intend to do, but again, you are open to do what you feel like. You can tangle in all the sections, right? So but some bit of inking always highlights, breaks the monotony, adds that drama thing. Yeah, so try alternating tangling and Knightsbridge. right? So that's the motif. So let's start with tangling first. So this section I'm going to add Knightsbridge, simple tangle, very dramatic, adds a lot to your tangling, to your tile, to your piece, whatever you are working on, in a very simple and easy way. So I'm alternating these wings with Knightsbridge, and the last one yeah, and the rest of the sections up to you. There are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. Let's go with something like Shattuck. Again, it's entirely up to you. Feel free to choose tangles that you feel like choosing, drawing. So I started from one side, added a line, added auras, again at an angle. So this line is almost at 90-degree angles. Again the last line will be at 90-degree angles. You can start from the outside, outermost line, or from the innermost line. It's entirely up to you. Whole lot of ways in which you can draw this tangle Shattuck. Yeah, so yeah. So you can either go with the same tangle in all, or you can vary it again, right? So just add some orbs of different size, squeeze them in like this, right? So I'm just squeezing them, drawing behind here, going back, filling in the small intersectices. Yeah. Then start with your Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge, again alternate sections to be inked. Take your time. Yeah. So here's one way of doing this section, this wing kind of section. So I did Knightsbridge in the alternate sections. I added some printums, I added some orleek, just a mesh. I added some nice squeezing orbs, I added Shattuck, I added some hybrid, right? So you can vary the look by adding different kind of tangles, right? But I want to show you that it's not a hard and fast rule. You can go with the same tangle also, right? So one thing that you can do here is, again, if I go with Knightsbridge in the alternate sections, another tangle that I can go with is probably paradox. Yeah, although the spaces are small, but the shapes are different, so you can go with a tangle called paradox also. Let's try it here. So although it would be nice to keep both the sides similar, but just to experiment how different things will look like, I'm going to change on the other side. Yeah, but you can keep it the same on both sides, entirely up to you. But I'm going to alternate Knightsbridge, that is for sure, so that it adds that much required drama, right? So these sections I'm going to ink just like I did here, and you can see the drama that it adds, right? And this section I am going to go with paradox, right? So just mimic the line here and add a slight angle as you end the line. Add a slight angle as you end the line. Purely line based tangle. Going with simple lines, just adding a slight angle to the lines as I end it. Yeah, again going and deviating a little at the end, going back, deviating a little at the end, and continuing the same exercise. Since the spaces are small, so you need not even lift your hand, it's a one stroke tangle, right? So you can see again going, just deviating a little at the end, giving a slight angle to the line as I end the line, and I'm not lifting the hand anywhere. It's a perfect meditation. Don't worry if the lines are not very stable, that's okay. Don't bother about those things, just enjoy. All looks well, all looks good. Zentangle is a very forgiving art form. It doesn't say or recognize anything as a mistake, right? So there are no mistakes. All looks good in Zentangle. That's the beauty of the tangles actually. Nothing looks bad. Right? So that's the tangle paradox, and the rest I am going to again ink in the same fashion as I did in the first one. Yeah. So take your time and slowly ink each of these alternate squares just like we do for the tangle Knightsbridge. Right? Ink it nicely, make sure you don't leave spaces in between. Right? Take your time. So I'll do that. So I am done with that exercise. You can see how the two different sides look so different. So you can either stick to this or you can do this, whatever you feel like. I have given you both the options. Right? So let us now add shading. So I am going to add shading to both the sides of this curve. And highlight the center just like a moon, just like you shade the moon, right? So right, and then I'm going to add shading on one side of this stick. You can also add shading under the lines, these slanting lines that we have drawn. You can add shading under those, right? Let us first do this much. So just blend it, bring it towards the center, darken the edges, leave a highlight here. Yeah, doing the same exercise on the other side also, just blending and bringing it towards the center, but leave a white highlight in the center just like we do for crescent moon. Yeah, and then one side of this stick, so just nicely blend it without covering the whole. Keep the edges darker. Blend this a little. Blend this a little. Right? And then comes these sections, so entirely up to you. You want to highlight the overlap, so it is a good idea to add at these places, right? So that you highlight the overlaps. and the wings look like going under each other, right? But you have to be careful. You don't need to blend too much because the spaces are small. If you blend too much, it will all be gray, right? So the concept is the same. If shading has to be effective, then whites and darks both have to be discrete, else it will all be gray and there is no contrast. Without contrast, there is no shading. Yeah. So take your time and slowly highlight these overlaps without blending too much. Yeah. The other side also I am doing exactly the same exercise, right? So adding graphite on the overlaps. So I am not going up to the end, yeah, because for overlaps I am not going up to the end. Just want to highlight the common intersections. Right, and then just blend it a little, not too much. Right, so these are Printums, Knightsbridge or Lake, Shattuck, Hybrid, whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. Use organic tangles like Mocha, Flux, whatever you feel like. Use border tangles. Yeah, I think we are done. If you want, you can add a little more on one side of the stick. Highlight it a little more. Darken it a little more. Yeah, and now comes the chalk. So make sure your chalk is sharpened. Use it in the center space to highlight the area where you have not added graphite. So I'm shading it just like I would shade a crescent moon, although it is not a moon exactly. Then add some on this center line, or you can add on the other half, right? So highlighting the other half, and then probably a little, this area is dark, so you can always add on this line, but these are again optional. They are small spaces. If you want to do away with the shading there, it's okay, right? So that's entirely up to you. Okay. Knightsbridge gives some nice shading opportunity, that's why I'm using it here. That high and low effect that can be given to Knightsbridge using your chalk and your graphite pencil. So use a different pencil, a blender, and just soften the chalk. Make sure it is not cakey. Blend it, soften it. Right, and so on the other side. Yeah, and we are done. Right, so that's our motif for today. If you want, you can redo some lines, revisit some lines if you feel like, add something else. Yeah, I'm going to stop here, put my chalk. Right, so I'll see you again with 1 or 2 more sessions. Hope you're enjoying. Thanks for all your comments, all your suggestions, all your feedback. I really appreciate and admire. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.